And welcome, Squeedy Slingers and water-fed pole wiggling wagglers. How are you all doing today?
Can I say something? Can I say?
This is my line.
Not right.
Okay, come on then.
You
can come back.
Oh, can I talk to them, please? Oh, at least you didn't duct tape me this time. Oh, how are you doing, squeegee slingers and water-fed pole wiggling wagglers? My line, yes. You got to say it with some gusto.
I see. I need some more ideas of how to keep Pete away.
Yeah. Last time you tried, what was it? You duct taped my hands and my mouth. This time I'm having my say. So we've got our tablets at the ready. We're going to answer questions. Just make sure it's on silent so I don't hear myself. And ask anything you like. But this evening, this topic is going to be to do with window cleaning vehicles and what your choice would be. So we thought kind of what we would do is talk about basically how we started and what vehicle we chose to start with very, small amount of money to go with and small amount of tools. But let us know in the comments what vehicles you started with. I know some people have even started with things like push bikes, cycles, and putting a little trailer on the back of it and things like that. Really cool ways of getting it around.
We have a friend who has a very old-fashioned pram.
Yeah, he converted a pram into a little cart.
He converted it into a little cart, and he literally puts his ladders and his tools in there, and he pulls it around with it. And he's been doing it for what?
A long time.
30 years?
A long time.
Long time.
Indeed.
And he's still got this little pram thing that works for him.
Indeed, this is it. So if you're watching this live, welcome. This is the Tradman Window Cleaning YouTube channel. This is Trad Girl. Say hello.
Hello.
And so yes, we're just talking about vehicle choices. And if you're watching this after it's gone live, feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the box below. We'd love to hear what you think about this topic. And also smash that thumbs up button, it'd be really much appreciated.
And I'll be trying to read the comments as they come.
That'd be great.
I don't know if I've actually got them up or not because...
I'm all prepared. I've got your comments already. Have you? Are you there?
Yes, I think so. And our disclaimer, which we say on every video, is that...
T's and C's.
T's and C's. We do this from our house and we have 2 little kids that could walk in at any moment. So they've never done it yet, but we're not going to hold our breath that it wouldn't happen one time. So just ignore if one of us has to leave halfway through because a kid walks in.
Indeed, we've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So
you're in bed.
If you do see little eyeballs popping up from somewhere, let us know in the comments box below, and we'll put them back to bed. So
we've
got some comments. Do you want to fire away? We're going to call a Trad Girl the comments lady.
Yeah. No, you see,
oh dear.
Okay,
technology's playing up already. That's a good start.
So hello to everyone who's joined us so far. Good evening.
Good evening.
Or good morning. Or good afternoon.
Could be good morning or
wherever you are.
It could be.
Oh, it keeps disappearing. I don't know.
Shall I just do this? We've got George Stevens. What payload is your van? Good question. I just got it, and if you know me, know anything about me, I do not check anything like that. I just go, I'll have that one, don't I?
No, well, you did do a bit of research.
I didn't check the payload.
I don't know what does that mean.
How much it can basically pull, tow, how much you can carry on board.
Cool.
I did not check that. Probably a good idea to check it.
I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah, usually with diesel engines in a van, they're normally pretty good. I mean, you know, for my size of van, I don't know if you've seen it, if you log on to the Tradman Facebook page, we'll leave a link in the description box below. If you've got any questions, fire away on that as well. But you'll see pictures of my new van, which we'll talk about in maybe a few minutes on there. It's got a 1.6 diesel engine. They call it HDI or something. It's turbocharged. It's the kind of van, the kind of size you wouldn't put a huge tank in anyway usually.
Yeah.
It'd probably struggle to pull.
We got a crew cab, which means it's got seats in the back as well as the front, but it's not like a massive transit van.
No.
It's a smaller one, but it's still got all of the seats for family purpose, so it hasn't got an awful lot of space in the back.
Yes.
For a big tank.
We've got.
I could do comments.
Okay, is it coming up on your screen now?
Pure Clean H2O.
Hello, Pure Clean. How are you?
And he says he's looking at a Citroen Dispatch.
Oh yeah, very popular.
Any good for a starter van?
Yes. I've seen actually a lot of window cleaners with those vans. I mean, to be honest, in this day and age, a badge these days doesn't mean much because a lot of vehicles share parts. You know, it's not just a case of, well, that's a Ford and that's a Citroen and that's a Renault. You usually find that they have similar parts or the same parts under the bonnet, you know. So
what's that one look like? Is it quite a big one, or is it?
yeah, well, it's probably kind of similar to what I've got now. So you can, it's basically what I would class as a medium kind of sized van. But yeah, Dispatch, they're pretty good, very popular vans. They're quite cheap and easy to run as well. Usually fine with French vehicles, Renault, Citroen, my one Peugeot. They're very cheap and cheerful kind of things, and if you have to repair them, it's not too bad. So yeah, not really many downsides. The only downside I would say to a French vehicle is the gearbox. The gearbox can be a little bit like, how would you describe a porridge stirrer? It's a bit like, oh, where's first, where's third, where's fifth? It's you know, it's not as direct as say like an Audi or Mercedes, something like that, where it's very good gearbox, well made. You know exactly where your gears are.
So there you go.
So there you are.
You
So
agree?
Dispatch,
We would-
good choice, cheap and cheerful.
Yeah, and JD says the Dispatch is fantastic, so maybe
Yep.
JD has got one. If anybody else has got a Dispatch, a Citroen
Mhm.
Dispatch, and would recommend that to Pure Clean, write in the comments, and
Yep.
he can make up his mind.
Indeed.
And what's everybody else got? Started with a Ford Escort, is Julian Pierce.
Yeah, I had a Ford Escort for window cleaning when I was 18. Yeah.
But he's just had a new Toyota Purus van.
Do not ask Carly about vehicles. She will pronounce them wrong and has no idea about vehicles.
What colour is it? Tell
What
me that.
colour
I
is it?
understand the colours.
Carly picks the colours and I pick it on
If
basically
it looks
everything else.
pretty and it's got a pretty colour,
Yes.
I'm happy with it. For my car, not for a van.
Indeed, indeed.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've also got Glenn saying a Merc. He's still got that one. So the only thing I've seen with, I mean, I suppose it's applicable to most vans, but I've seen a lot of Mercedes, and this applies to Transits as well. They do seem to rust quite quickly. So whether they're just using a thinner paint, a different kind of paint, they're just not making it quite as well.
So keep an eye on that.
Keep an eye on rust.
Have
I've
you,
seen a
has
lot of rust.
anybody else had a problem with rust?
Yes, well,
That's a hazard
yeah.
in a water cleaning job.
Yeah,
isn't it,
especially
really?
if you're
So-
using a pure water system. Whether this is true or not, let me know, but I remember my old boss telling me that apparently pure water corrodes worse than normal water. So whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments box below.
Mhm.
We've got JD saying good evening, trad couple. Yo, how's it going? he's got a clover leaf there. I think he thinks we're Irish.
Oh, maybe.
I'll go with that. Stephen says 0.75 Mbits down right now. Fair enough.
That's the internet speed. So
Ah.
maybe
He's struggling to watch us apparently. Well, you can always watch the playback once we're finished.
yeah,
So
yeah. And APS window cleaning, he has a Ford Fiesta and he's still got it.
yes, Ford Fiesta. There was actually I think
Did-
the CV's
did
on
you-
APS window cleaning. He's got a Ford Fiesta. Andy, if you want to comment about your vehicle, let people know how you found your Ford. I think it's a Ford Fiesta you've got.
He's just said that.
Yeah, has he?
I just read that comment.
No, you didn't.
didn't.
I'm doing the usual husband thing of the wife says something and it goes in here and trickles out of there somewhere. I'm sorry, my dear. Did
That
you
is
say
okay.
that?
And I was going to say, we started with a Ford, didn't we? Do you remember?
We did
you
start
had
with
a
Ford. We did.
and you had your ladders on the top. We
Mhm.
put roof bars on it. And how did you find that?
It was actually not too bad, but the problem is I was 18 years old and I treated my
No, when we were a
Ford.
bit older, because we had the.
No, you're getting confused. The first window cleaning car
Oh,
we
we
had
had
as
Ford
a couple.
Focus.
Yes, that was a
Yeah.
Ford Focus. Yeah.
Ford Focus.
The Ford Focus was pretty good, and Ford Focus has a big boot. So I was able to get a lot of traditional tools in the back of there, but you know, I wouldn't suggest it for, you know, water-fed pole systems and things like that. Personally, I wouldn't
No.
feel comfortable putting a water-fed pole system in a car. I know
Well, that would be quite hard.
some people
to
do it.
pulse and-
some people have done it, some
I
people have put it
haven't
in,
done that.
even in Fiestas and things.
Tell us how that works.
Yeah.
You've got one of those. You've got a water-fed pole system in a car.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell us how that works.
Ah,
How did
JD
you,
says he's Irish.
Ah.
That's alright then.
how did you find it? Does anybody use a car for
Water-fed.
just general? Because I'm just thinking with the ladders on the top.
Yep.
Could you open the boot? Or do you have to
Some
use the back
do,
seats?
some do. Well, we know Mick
Yeah.
Squeegee, I don't know if he'll be watching or not, you better be.
Oh, yeah,
he
he is.
uses a Honda Civic,
Yeah, he's
but that's got a massive boot. But the thing is, the boot does touch the ladder, so you do
So
have to
be
kind of
careful.
watch when you open it. You don't scratch your boot, or sorry, your trunk. If you're in America, it's a trunk.
Oh, okay.
So if you don't scratch the trunk lid, I don't know what do they call it. You have to be careful of that. If you're using a car with ladders, just be careful when you open the back.
And Julian Pierce is saying US window cleaners love their pickup trucks. Seen a couple here
Yes.
in the UK now being used for window. Yes, and we know a company, won't name any names.
What,
We know-
here?
Yeah,
Oh,
who,
yes.
who used pickup trucks.
Still do.
Yeah, still do.
Still
And
do.
it was very clever actually because they had their water fed system in the back all open and the rails, and they literally just pulled the poles off.
Yep.
The wheels came, no opening doors, and it was actually really clever. So that's
Yeah.
a very good idea actually. a pickup
Indeed.
truck. I like that idea actually.
I think the only downside would be if you were using a pickup truck, unless you. I don't feel comfortable with all my tools being open,
Yeah, like exposed.
you
Yeah.
know. So I quite like the idea of a van because you can lock the vehicle and then go and do your job, come
Yeah.
back. You know, especially if you're living in a place where you're maybe potentially get stuff stolen. I don't know if that's an issue. I've seen it in America. They use a lot of pickup trucks. Personally, I just wouldn't feel comfortable
Maybe
leaving my stuff.
if you're storing it as well, like in a garage or in a place overnight where it's lockable, it might be a bit.
Yeah.
But generally, if things are screwed down.
JD says, I was using a pickup truck for Waterfed Pull, but it changed back to a van.
Oh.
Let us know why that was. I'd be really interested to know what you found was the reason why you jumped back to a van. That would be really good. Robert, my VW Caddy has been repaired for €4,500 this year
Ooh,
during
big
the
bill.
high season, springtime. Oh my days. Don't like Ford, but that's next, a Connect. Fix or repair daily, Ford. Well, that was one of the reasons we'll get on to in a minute why we changed our, almost latest van. We had a Ford Transit Connect. That was a 1.9
But
diesel.
The Connects are highly recommended
Mhm.
as a.
They're pretty
as a
hardy
underground
machines.
Van, yeah.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, ours was pretty old.
Yeah.
But it did have a lot of things start going wrong with it all of a sudden.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why we got rid of it.
Well, this is it. It was having engine problems. It would over rev in each gear. So you know, a bit like if you were to put the throttle down and put the clutch in, you know, it would rev really high. Well, my Transit was doing that in third, fourth, and fifth gear without putting the clutch in. You'd put the throttle down and it would over rev into the red. So I was obviously either having clutch issues or gearbox issues of some sort, and I was having brake
And an oil
issues,
leak.
and I had an oil leak.
So when Fords are very, very good, I think, especially Ford Connect. But when
Yeah,
they brake,
newer
they
ones.
don't just.
Just a little
brake.
break. It's a
They
big.
seem to do everything all at once. It seems to happen
Yeah.
all at once. Doesn't
Well,
it?
we had
That's what happened with
our
us.
van in the garage about 4 or 5 times already or something this year.
Yeah, so it
Um,
had to really be changed. Didn't
Yeah.
It was at the point where there was no coming back for it. It was just
Yeah.
we were just throwing money at it now and then to keep it alive. But yeah, and
Indeed.
and Julian does agree with the pickup truck security in bad weather can be a downside. So,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking because your tools and all your equipment's all exposed.
This
all
company
the
we were
time,
talking
so.
about, they used to store their pickup trucks in a locked.
Yeah, well, they also
driveway.
have because they were old Land Rover type things, so they actually had compartments on the side which you could
Yeah.
lock. So if they had their trad belts and their trad gear would all be in the side compartments that you could lock.
Yeah.
And the hose reels were actually built into the truck,
Yeah.
so you just had this little slot where the hoses came out from. So there was nothing actually exposed. There was no tools exposed in the back of the pickup truck.
No,
but
it was just
he did all of that himself. It
Yeah.
was a DIY job. So
Yeah, it's very
custom
clever.
built.
They looked very smart. Mhm.
Katie says, "Good afternoon. Hello, how
Good
are you?
afternoon.
Hopefully you're well. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated indeed." That's Julian saying security. Oh no, we said that
Yeah.
one. Katie saying we use an E150 van. Works okay, but we would love to get a smaller van.
I don't know what that is. What's it?
An E150, is that not a pickup truck, Katie? I think that's a. Is it? Let us know in the comments. I could be wrong. I think it's a pickup. Could be wrong. I probably totally know. What's Robert saying? I'm leasing a new one, 5-year warranty, and 15,000 miles. 5-year warranty. That's not
Sounds good.
bad. Mind you, some of these warranties you have to watch, don't you? Because
Yeah, we just had a warranty issue with my
Yeah.
car.
yeah, indeed, some things obviously are not covered in the warranty.
Rubber pipes are not covered.
Pipes are not covered.
Yeah, we suspect, we live out in the countryside, and so we have a lot of wild mice in the fields and things around us.
Indeed.
I suspect a mouse chewed through it because this rubber pipe was completely
That
in two
mouse,
halves
that mouse cost us £150.
because it wasn't under warranty. But we have an extended warranty, but he said if the gearbox or the clutch went, which would have been a £1,500 bill, that would have been covered. But the £150 rubber pipe was not covered. So.
Believe, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, so check what is covered.
Yeah,
And
watch,
don't go near mice.
watch the small print when you get a warranty
Yes.
cover.
If anybody's got any tips about how to keep mice out of your car,
That'd be good.
need some of those.
Some rat poison all over the engine.
Oh,
Hey,
Aw.
it's costing me £150. He's getting the rat poison.
shame.
Anyway, JD says, had a 400 litre tank fitted in my pickup, which was fine. The reason I changed was I needed a bigger tank, and so I switched back to the van and got a 650 litre tank. Well, that'll keep you going all day. 650 litres.
Yeah.
That'll be alright. Katie says, no, it's a van. See, I got it wrong. There you go. Sure, something I know. It's a full-size van in the US. Oh, that's why I don't know what it is. It's in the US.
Oh, there's his excuse.
That's my excuse.
It's American.
I don't know American stuff.
Don't know what it is.
With V8 gas motor. A V8.
Wow.
That's alright.
In a van.
Vroom. my
Sound
van
good.
my van's got a tiny engine. It just goes vroom, vroom. So even my old Transit, it would actually make a nice noise.
Maybe that's
but-
why the mice are attracted to our driveway
Yeah,
because you
maybe.
make your van's making
Maybe-
like a little
yeah,
squeaky noise.
Yeah, my van is some kind of mice mating ritual. It's going. I don't know what that.
That sounded like a
I don't know
cat.
what that was. That was a cat. Anyway, Andy says wear and tear items are not covered under warranty.
You know we can't edit that out, right?
I'm not bothered. Face bothered. Andy says as well, Vicks Vapor Rub might. Oh, it might hate. I'm gonna Vicks Vapor Rub my engine. Can
I'll send Pete in for some. Thank you.
pamper my engine. I'll get just in there. JD says, where do you guys get your t-shirts? Oh, do you want to explain?
I don't know where we come from.
You don't know.
Oh, did we get them from the warehouse place?
Maybe I
Winter
should
Clean-
have
is
said
it
that.
Winter Cleaning Warehouse?
Nope.
With resources.
Yes.
Very kindly, Window Cleaning Resources sent us these t-shirts as a surprise.
And they are based in.
America!
Hey, there you go.
And
That was
we
a long
love
time
them.
ago.
And I don't know if did we say thank you? I really hope that we said thank I'm sure we would have said thank you for them.
Yeah.
But we got 3. We got this one, a black one with just a squeegee on it, and a blue one with like almost like an American flag looking
With a squeegee on it.
with a squeegee and the American flag star instead of the star.
So, yeah.
We really
Check
like
out Window Cleaning Resources if you're in the USA.
And if you're in the UK,
UK Window Cleaning Warehouse. Yeah, fist bump that. Boom. So, let's see, JD's also saying you pair are looking good in red.
thank you.
Well, what it is
He
because
wanted us to match.
I wanted it, I know what it was, because I'm so white, because I never see the sun, I wanted my t-shirt to kind of out red my face.
Oh,
It's been 30 degrees
we are
here
not
in Scotland.
prepared for that.
We're not
in
prepared.
Scotland.
I have been burned like a lobster, so if I wear any colour other than red,
You can
you'll
show
be able
them
to tell.
the
No,
lines.
leave my white chest alone.
He's got the Scottish white tan lines.
Farmer
where it's
tan.
Like brown from here to here, and brown
That's
from
more
here
red.
to there, and then the rest of it is like
Oh,
white.
it's pretty funny. It's a proper British tan. It's just red, white.
So yeah, so that's why we're wearing red.
How are you guys dealing with the heat? If you've got heat, I'm dying.
How did you find working in the heat with your water and your rubber and things like
It's
that?
it's difficult. It's difficult. You just have to have the applicator a lot more saturated than you normally would. The hardest part is really doing pole work. Obviously, if you're water-fed pole, it doesn't quite affect you as badly. It can be a nightmare if you're working on tint and things like that. Sometimes it doesn't dry quite right. You've got to be pretty thorough with your rinsing. But with traditional, it can be a real pain. Sometimes you have to split a window into sections, so I do the top half and then the bottom half. But yeah, working in the heat all the time. I don't envy people that work in the heat all the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, we have a friend in America lives in North Carolina, and he says
Pretty
it's pretty hot there.
hot there. Yeah.
Every
yeah.
time we see him, in a picture of something, he's always got shorts and a little vest thing on. So
Yeah, a little mankini thing. Yeah, Michael, if you're watching this right now with your Borat swimsuit
we
thing
don't
on
watch your bikini.
and your headband, cleaning windows,
Don't bring it to
and he
Scotland.
dances as well. He's got a nice little like. He
Little
wiggles his,
swagger.
yeah, he wiggles his bum while he's cleaning windows.
Shit.
Maybe that gets him work. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I'll just make people run. But anyway, get back to what we were talking about anyway.
Vehicles.
Work vehicles. Why did we pick the Peugeot Partner? Right, the Peugeot Partner, it's the L2 model. It's a long wheelbase van, but it's still it's like a medium-sized van. It's not huge, but longer than my previous van, which was the Transit short wheelbase Connect. We chose it because I still needed a fairly decent amount of space in the back for tools and equipment, but I also wanted some back seats. Because obviously, as you maybe know, we've got 2 kids and, you know, if we're without the family car for any reason, we can actually use the work vehicle to get the family around as a backup. So if you've got kids yourself, you may find that, you know, that's maybe a good thing to think about, is if you're going to get a van, get something that's got at least 5 seats.
Well, it's just for us because we live out in the countryside.
Indeed.
There's no public transport here, so if I get stuck without my car, then the other van that we had, the Ford Transit Connect, only had 2 seats. So there's no way of getting the family out of the house, away from the home if we needed to. So so that's why we got the crew cab version of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really like it, don't we?
It's a really nice van. I highly recommend it. But what I would suggest you do if you're thinking about buying a vehicle is first think, where are you going to go with your business? Are you just traditional? Are you going to be traditional and water fed? Are you going to be a full water fed system, big tank and all that? Because that's what you really need to decide first before you pick your vehicle. You know?
Yeah, because we had to really think about, yes, we needed a crew cab, but where did we want to go in the future as well?
Yes.
And we're really considering just a little water fed.
Yeah, smaller water fed system.
So when we were looking at this van, we really had to think, could we get a little tank and our traditional equipment in the back there as well? So yeah.
Judy says, this is back to the heat thing. Factor 15, a baseball cap.
Yeah.
Robert says back seats or a 3-seater. Yeah, it's got back seats, so it's got 2 front seats and it's got 3 seats in the back.
Just like a normal car.
And they have the ISOFIX bars, so if you've got young kids with the seats that click onto the bars, it's got that as well.
Yeah.
So
and these seats, they do go down.
Yes.
So you know, we can fold the back seats down. You can do that.
Yeah, you get more back space, but
and JD is asking, are we mainly traditional?
yes.
At the moment, we are only traditional.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, we don't have anything else.
Yeah, I am finding though, I did have a water-fed pull system before, but
it was just a little backpack one.
It was a backpack that I had on a trolley, and I had the Unger Hydro. Now, it was a good system. I did give it a good review. It is a good system. The only downside to it is it's a bit of a pain in the bum to set it up all the time. You've got to obviously find a customer's tap, connect it to the tap, pull the hose to where you need to go. Sometimes you didn't have enough hose or the pressure wasn't good enough, things like that.
Good if you didn't need to use it very often.
Yeah, if it's just
but
occasional.
If you're going to use it a lot, you might want to consider getting something a bit more permanent.
Like van mounted system, something like that. Especially
we really
in the UK.
liked it.
Yeah.
We liked it as a...
It got us going for a bit, but I'm thinking there's a lot of services, add-on services as well that you can do with a water-fed pole. So I thought to myself, garage doors, Velux windows would be easier to do, conservatory roofs, fascias and soffits. There's a whole range of things you can do with a water-fed.
Also big companies.
Tall windows, indeed. So I just thought to myself, if I was going to get a water-fed pole system again, this time I would go for a van-mounted system. Now, we are currently kind of looking and doing our homework at the moment, but we'll keep you tuned on that one and see how we get on.
Maybe a future thing, but it wouldn't be in place of traditional. It would be just an extra tool to help us complete our work.
JD's asking if we find insurance is quite expensive for using ladders.
Nope.
No, it's actually
not
quite
in
cheap.
the UK.
No. It's
well, not here in Scotland. I can't speak for England.
It's about just over maybe 150 £140 a year or something.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Not bad at all.
It's not
really.
bad. You can pay it
And
up
that
monthly
covers
as
us
well.
for, is it $1 million?
Up to £1 million.
That
yeah.
covers us for £1 million.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's more.
If
than
you
enough.
break anything, it's worth $1 million, and you're in trouble.
Yeah. How would you even break something?
My ladder
Literally
fell on top of a Lamborghini and an Aston Martin.
all in one go.
All in one go.
It kind of like bounced off one
It
car and
bounced
hit the other
off.
car and
Yeah.
just wrote off them both. And then we claimed $1 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Old school window cleaner. Hi guys, hope you're both good. Yes, actually we're doing really good. We're dying with the heat. In Scotland we're struggling with 30 degrees Celsius here, which we're not used to. I mean, to us, getting 20 degrees Celsius is hot.
Yeah.
So I
We're
noticed
used
some
to
of
the
you.
teens.
Yeah, well, this is it. We're actually used to cold weather here,
Mhm.
but we're getting a real heat wave at the moment.
Yeah, you can see
Um,
heat.
I'm dying. I'm like literally going to be on the
We're
floor
not
in a
equipped for
minute.
this hot weather, so we have no air conditioning in
No
our
aircon.
house.
No.
So this room is just like a greenhouse at the moment. We've had to close the blinds
Yeah.
to help keep the sun out.
Yeah.
But the sun is setting, so
Josh says hi as well. Hello.
Hi, Josh.
How you doing, buddy? You alright? Will's vlog says hey. How you doing? JD says it's really good. It was a ridiculous price here in Ireland.
oh no, really?
See you Irish. Tell you.
Don't do anything by house. What
Yeah.
price was it in Ireland, if you don't mind us asking? What's
Indeed.
the difference there? Yeah, and what were you covered for?
Old school window cleaner says it's really hot. I struggled with a conservatory roof on Thursday. Water dried straight away.
Where
Yeah.
are you based?
Old
Old
school.
school window cleaner. Yeah, you tell us where you are as well.
Well,
'cause
this
we
is
had
it.
the
'Cause if
same-
you're doing a conservatory roof with obviously it's going to be the same with Veluxes and things, but obviously the sun is directly on it.
Yeah.
I find that when I'm trying to traditionally clean Velux or skylight windows, obviously they're in direct sunlight and it turns into like an oven top, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If I threw up a couple of eggs, I'm sure they would cook, you know. So yeah, it's a bit of a struggle. I think you can
Oh, it's
use
in there,
some added Birmingham.
Birmingham.
They've had nearly 40 degrees in some places in
Yeah,
England.
England
Yeah.
has been really suffering at the moment, the hot weather.
So I was speaking just briefly to Poles and Blades a little while ago, and he said it was close to 40 degrees.
And where's he?
Somewhere Midlands or something like that, I think. He keeps his location very secret. He's
He's in England.
he's like Batman. He's got a cave underneath his house, and he just comes out with his little old van out from a little like chute thing.
Yeah.
He takes off when the light comes up in the sky of
Yeah.
Poles and Blades. Greetings from County Cork. All right, on this
Oh.
wet evening.
Oh.
Can you send some rain our way? We're drying out here.
Yeah, we are.
Enjoy the channel, even though I'm not a window cleaner. I've got a Transit Connect short wheelbase. That's what we had. Doing some power washing. Great van so far. It's 4 years old. You'll probably be fine with that kind of age of van. Our van, it was 13 years old when it started to
Yeah.
really have issues, you know. So, yep, you've got plenty of time on it. Yeah, if you look after it
Yeah.
and service your van well, I would
Yeah.
definitely do that. If it's your workhorse, you rely on it. Keep
Yeah.
it regularly serviced.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, I would check everything around all my
Yeah.
oil levels,
Mhm.
everything. Just check it all over. Check the tires. Just
Yeah. 'Cause
really,
it did well lasting for 13
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
indeed, you did very well.
Mhm.
JD says they would pick fingers out of the sky when ladders were mentioned. Oh right,
Oh,
anything from 400 quid upwards for
Wow.
£1 million cover.
really?
Dropped
Tremendous.
dramatically when I went water fed pole.
Oh.
Yeah. But
That's a
no,
shame.
it's as far as I know for here it's not too bad at the moment.
Did
What?
you tell him that you had?
Yeah, because I've just basically been traditional mainly since it's from
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
only last year you did a little bit of water fed, but
Mhm.
it was just a little bit on top of your normal traditional, wasn't it? Just
Yes,
an odd
yeah.
window every now and again that we couldn't reach really.
Yeah,
with
tricky windows,
a ladder or a pole.
conservatory roofs now and again, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a few jobs I had to turn down because it was a bit too high for
Mhm.
traditional, which
Mhm.
it's a bit annoying if I had the water fed pole then.
Mhm.
But then, to be continued in the future. Might be getting one, that'd be good. So let us know in the comments box below, folks. We've got a few folk live, so that's awesome. If you're just watching this after it's gone live, let us know your thoughts on what vehicle you picked, where you started, and what vehicle you've got now. So yeah, we were talking about, we've transitioned over to now using this Peugeot Partner Crew Cab. I'd also highly recommend if you're using ladders, if you can't get them actually in the vehicle, you're putting them on the top. is get something like what we have, which is a roof rack with a roller at the back. We were using, well, we are using the Rhino roof rack, but we actually had some issues with Rhino roof racks
We're not
recently.
happy with them at the moment.
We're not happy with Rhino roof
We're
racks.
not happy.
Normally they're pretty good, but for some reason it took them 3 attempts to send me a roof rack that wasn't bent. What it was the back, it comes in 2 sections normally, and the back section on the right hand side was bent in towards the centre. Now what had happened I don't know, but it took them 3 attempts to send me one I could actually fit together with the front section, but the bolts still are not lining up 100%. I had to use a persuasive method, i.e. a hammer.
But when we bought the first roof Rhino rack, that was perfect for the Ford Transit Connect.
Yeah, it was fine.
There. And that worked absolutely fine. And it's a very clever system actually. You just leave.
I've just wet myself. Pause the thought. The Scotsman was trying to get some water in him because I'm dying of heat over here, and I just piddled myself.
It's a good job.
Somebody get me a bib. Sorry, do carry on. I'm just wetting myself over here.
So, while he
Actually, I'm just
composes
going to pour this
himself,
over my head.
while he composes himself, we'll talk about Rhino. So you lean your ladders against it, and then it kind of takes all the weight for you. So you just push them up and over. You're not having to lift your ladders on. It literally takes the weight off the ladders for you. It's very clever. Indeed. Yeah, and that's how you get your ladders on. So
yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, so if they can send you one that isn't bent,
yeah,
you could get one of those.
And so Rhino roof racks probably not been watching anyway. But if you're watching, what have you done to your roof racks?
Stop blaming the courier.
Yeah, no.
3 times.
The poor courier managed to bend solid steel. They sent He-Man apparently.
Yeah.
I don't like this roof rack. Here, now you have sign.
I think the courier was getting a bit fed up of having to deliver these
Yeah.
heavy steel racks to our house every week.
Yeah, he wasn't
You
happy.
poor thing having to carry them in.
Indeed.
Oh, shit.
Old School says, I have made my own water-fed pull system.
Ooh,
and I'll do a video on it soon.
Well, we will look forward to seeing that and we'll
Indeed.
watch it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be very good. Thank you.
Indeed, yeah. Well, I suppose if you have the know-how, you know a bit about electrics and plumbing, and you can
Yeah.
source the parts. eBay is a great place to get your bits and pieces from.
Yeah. And you get some Scottish water, especially here, because our water is.
It's only 45 parts per million.
It's
really
it's
good.
getting
Mm-hmm.
to very close to being pure. So
Indeed.
get yourself
Indeed.
some Scottish water.
Scottish water. Brace yourselves, everyone. Just take a break. I'm trying not to wet myself. Hold on. I did it. Yes.
I was going to offer you a straw actually. I thought that might be a bit easier.
It's so hot in here. How do you guys in Australia deal with this heat? If I came over to Australia, I would get off the plane and I would just melt on the floor.
That's very true. When we started this conversation, my hair was wet because we had a family water
And
fight.
we had a water fight today. Indeed.
But it is actually dry now.
Old School says it's a cheap version and it's a bit Swiss Family Robinson.
Fine, if it works.
It's held together with bamboo shoots and
Nice.
stuff. So.
If it works, it works.
So we've got some, obviously folks watching, remember to hit the thumbs up button, people. That'd be much appreciated.
I'll start.
Yes. What? Is it bad if I push my own thumbs up button? Is that bad?
Push it if you would like.
Feels a bit sort of, I love me. To hell with it. Boink. Thumbs up.
It hasn't showed on mine yet.
Has it not? Watch this, everyone's going to go like this. Thumbs down. Thumbs down. That's okay. But no, so yeah, we've actually found sticking to the size of van that we have now, it's a class of kind of medium size. If you're working in an area where you're in tight, narrow streets, which we are,
Yeah.
we've got a local village that we work in where it's like an old historical Scottish village.
Cobbled roads and
It's
things.
a little bit of cobbles, gee whiz. There's not still horses walking around. People in the stocks at the side
It's
of the
very
road.
narrow, and sometimes you can only park on one side of the
Yeah.
road, so it's getting into parallel parking
Indeed.
spaces and
Indeed.
things like that. So we would
Small vans
survive with
are-
a big van where we are. I think.
No, you'd struggle. So small vans are really good for getting around small villages, getting a parking space, that kind of thing.
Or maybe even big cities. You
Yes.
might need to small van for a big
Indeed,
city.
indeed. And then obviously the trade-off of that is if you've got a lot of, say for instance, water-fed pole work, you need a big water tank in there.
Yeah.
Then obviously you're going to be limited to getting something like a Renault Traffic, Vauxhall Vivaro, up to things like Renault Master, that kind of things. If you're going to need something like a 6, 7, 800 litre or above litre system, I would recommend getting something a bit like that. But if you're using something that's maybe a small water-fed pole system, 300-400 litres, something like that, some trad gear, then stick to things like your Ford Transit Connects, VW Caddies, even what I've got, Fuse Your Partner, that kind of thing.
Stephen has got a VW Caddy, as you said, and he gets a
VW
new
Caddy.
one every 4 years. Why'd you get a new one every 4 years? Stephen, let us know that.
What are you doing to your van that you need one every 4 years? Well, the thing is, actually these days they do a lot of good deals. Don't do it. I have to. I have to, otherwise I will die. Scotsmen are not used to heat. I'm struggling, okay? I need somebody at the side fanning me going like this, you know? Oh.
I should have brought a fan, I'm sorry.
Oh, gee whiz, holy smokes, Batman. Anyway, so yes, if you're using quite a large van, I'd like to know how you're getting on with it. Are you in an area where it's not a problem? Or are you in an area where you're kind of having to manoeuvre in and around perhaps somewhere like London with a big long wheelbase van? Let me know how you're getting on with that.
And you know, I just thought as well, what about how the back doors or the boot or what's
the
called
trunk?
do you have sliding doors? Do you have ones open out? Do you have ones open up?
Tailgate.
How does that work for you guys? Like, is there something you prefer because of your equipment?
I've always found that the double doors that open out like that are pretty good because normally they have a catch where if you're water-fed pole, you can open the doors 180 so they can go completely out.
Oh yeah, but how would that be for parking? Because then you've got to make sure you've got enough space to get your doors open.
Indeed, indeed.
And if you're like where we are, quite tight space.
Well, the thing is, you're going to probably need to get into the back anyway because you'll need to get access to your water-fed pole brushes or your trad gear or whatever. To be honest, usually if you've got things like a tailgate, you need a lot more room for that because it comes obviously it's a lot longer, so it needs a lot more room. Whereas the double doors, usually I find a bit better. But then obviously if you have a van with a sliding door at the side, those are really good. Don't do the mistake I make. And my Ford Transit didn't have a sliding door at the side, so I had to try and keep everything I needed quite relatively close to the back of the van. So it was a bit tricky. So if you can get a van with sliding doors, highly recommend getting something like that. So we've got Robert, have you thought of leasing a new one? Pay more in tax or have a new van?
I don't know, I think leasing is, I don't know if it works here for us because when we looked into leasing, you're limited the amount of miles you can do and normally it's not a lot. We found, and I think because we live in the countryside and because our area we cover is quite vast because obviously it's lots of little towns and villages in the countryside, so we travel quite far. I think he would probably go over his miles every year that they would allow us, so we'd probably get into a little bit of trouble for that, so maybe that wouldn't work for us.
There's pros and cons, isn't there?
Yeah, but if you were in a city, I think that might work better for you, especially if you weren't doing a lot of driving.
Keep on your miles.
Yeah, if you keep on 2 miles, because I don't know if it'd work out cheap or not, but we can put our van against our expenses.
Yeah, you can do that. You can put that against your tax.
So it actually works better for us that way.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, the thing is, according to our accountant, they changed how they take that off of your tax. So before.
Don't worry, this. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, the accountant explained it was a case of that people used to claim a percentage of the value of that van every year. But whereas our accountant told us recently that you have to claim the entire amount in that tax year. So if you buy a van for 20 grand.
If there's any accountants.
If you're an accountant, let us know because this is what our accountant said. Let us
know.
This is it.
If he was talking rubbish or not.
Yeah, that's what the accountant said. It's not me. Don't shoot the messenger. But no. So let us know what your experiences is when it comes to getting a vehicle and claiming that against your tax, because I think that's something useful for all of us.
Is anybody else at least one as well? How does that work?
Yeah, well, you would claim with the monthly payments against your tax.
Maybe.
Yeah. So let us know what your accountant said, because not all accountants seem to sing from the same hymn sheet. So, what have we got? Well, I think we've missed a few, have we?
No, it's okay, I've been reading them.
Okay, well, can you read them out?
Yep. So
Keep it to yourself.
Old school window cleaning is saying leasing can have additional charges for damage and has to be backed with new tyres, etc. Just something to think about. Very true. You can be very limited what you can do with a vehicle. Like, it'd be okay if you were a normal driver, but say if you were me, I like to bash cars.
Yes, you do.
And vehicles.
You're not.
And
She's
break
not
them.
driving my van.
Not without ignoring.
No.
He hasn't let me drive it yet, but I haven't needed to do so. So yeah, I suppose you have to really think carefully about it. But then it's got its positives that you probably pay less than if you took one out on finance. Maybe
Depends
you
what
would
the
get
deal
a
is.
newer vehicle. You wouldn't. Would you have to cover any wear and tear? Maybe not. So it has its pluses as well.
True. Well, I mean, one
You
of the
wouldn't be able
things.
to modify it, maybe. So you would probably be able to put in a water-fed system if you needed to.
Yeah, well, I mean, these days as well, you can also do. Well, big shout out to places like Window Cleaning Warehouse who do package deals where you can buy a van
Oh, there you go.
plus a system fitted in it for a monthly payment.
Oh well.
You know, so if you're just
But
starting
this is buying
out,
a new van, isn't it?
yeah,
So,
it's normally new vans.
so how does that work? Do they give you the options of the vans they've got, or do you tell them what you want and they source it?
Yeah, you can tell them what you want.
Yeah.
They have access to usually most kinds of vans by the sounds of it. They don't really tend to do much in the way of anything older. It tends to be new stuff.
Okay.
But if you're looking to upgrade and you're needing a van with a system and you need it pretty quick, and you don't mind
Maybe
that
if you're
monthly
just
payment.
starting out, and you're
Yeah, I mean, there's guys maybe that are been doing traditional for a long time. They want to get into water fed, don't want the hassle of having to go get a van and then go somewhere else for a system.
I suppose it's a one package, isn't it? It's like a water fed system, all your poles, all the equipment you need in the van that you need, ready to go. Here you go. Pay monthly amount.
Yep.
Or maybe buy it outright if you can afford to do that.
Indeed. So it's shout out for you. I'll leave a link in the description below after the video to Window Cleaning Warehouse's van mounted systems, and you can have a look at that yourself.
We've maybe just looked at that on their website, have we? Well, we've never actually done that.
I look at all that kind of stuff when you're not looking. I do my homework. What am I going to buy next? Don't look at my
What
screen.
pretty shiny vans are out there?
See, when guys are deleting their internet history because of other reasons, mine because I'm shopping for window cleaning stuff.
I knew it.
How many thousands? Oh, it's pocket change.
Next, please.
Next, please. But no, let's have a look. Where were we? Old School says, I had a friend get charged because of signage marks.
Oh, shame. That's another thing as well, like, would you risk putting your own signage on it and things? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you buy a van that's maybe a couple of years old.
No, it's not about leasing.
No, I know, but even with our one, you can actually see a slight outline of signage from the previous user. You can actually get rid of it. Usually pretty well.
Well, we're going to cover it up without
We're going to cover it up with our own signage anyway, so it's not a big deal.
When are we getting that done? August?
We're getting our signage done 5th of August.
So that'll be exciting, and we've got a completely new design for our old design.
Yes, it's a new design. I have to actually, thank you very much for reminding me. Window Cleaning Legends Facebook page. Shout out to all the guys on there. I have to say a big thank you to those that have helped me out with the design of the van. Because what I basically did was I got a few ideas from different designers and I shared them with you guys if you're watching just now and you're on the Legends page. And the wife. And
I had the biggest input.
Yeah, you kind of did. All the folk on Window Cleaning Legends have been really helpful in saying, they can be quite honest. They're nice but honest. They'll say, look, I don't like that. I like that. Change that. But some of the suggestions have been really good, and it's really kind of helped hone in how we wanted the van to look. So,
I think my battery's going to die.
Is your battery? That's okay. I'm all fully prepared. I have 60% left, so don't worry. We're going to be wrapping this up in a minute anyway. But yes, if you're going to get a van, think about signage as well, because it's a moving, billboard. It's going to be something that will promote your services as you're parked up and doing
Yeah.
the job.
We actually have had a lot of people just walking over to the van because it's, I'm assuming because they realise your window cleaners because you got wrote in the van,
Yep.
and asking for a quote.
Yep, the
So
van has got a lot of business.
It really does work.
Yeah.
I know it can be quite a big outlet to get it done.
Especially if you go for a wrap. A vehicle wrap is very expensive.
Wouldn't go for one of them. But delete your history.
Delete my history.
Yeah, because it can be a few £100s.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But you get
getting the
sick
vinyl
of
decals isn't that bad. I mean, it's about £400. But if you go for a vinyl wrap, half wrap is, what was it? It was about £600 or £700, and a full wrap was £1,500, I think, £1,500 for our van. But you don't really need all that
No,
unless you're.
we don't.
Some people
As
want
a
their
small
van to really go ka-ching, which is fine if you want to do that.
We've just got window cleaning.
Yeah.
It's
It's not as bad as that. I've literally seen some vans that literally just say cleaner and then a mobile number. And if that works, fair enough. And then you get other people that will go for a full wrap and have a picture of them and their dog and a squeegee on the side of the van. So, whatever tickles your fancy.
I'll read some of these comments.
Brilliant.
So Stephen is saying that he gets his cars with signage from a dealer that is also a customer for Independence. That's very good.
Alright.
And we
Brilliant.
get a discount.
With discounts.
John Paul is saying hi. Hi, John Paul Russell. And he's also saying he's a window cleaner in Gloucestershire. What's the law on ladder?
Don't use them, they're banned and illegal. You will be arrested and put in Blackgate prison.
Blackgate.
I was watching the Gotham series, that's the first jail that came into my head.
What do you mean by law, John Paul? Are you talking about?
Well, I think probably what he's talking about is I've had this, that some companies that are transitioning over to water-fed pole go around and tell their customers that it's now become illegal to use ladders.
That's not true.
Which is naughty because it's not
That's
true.
Very naughty.
I've had that quite a lot where if I've gone canvassing, they'll say to me, "Oh, you still use ladders? I thought that was illegal." And I'm like, "Why?" And they're saying, "Oh well, our previous window cleaner's gone water-fed pole, and they told us the reason for the transition was ladders were illegal." And I went, "No, that's just because they can't be bothered explaining to you how their system works."
As far as we know, John Paul, in the UK, ladders are not illegal.
No.
You can use them for your business window cleaning.
The only thing you'd have to watch for, it's not so much a problem on residential, it's commercial. You'd have to watch what you're doing because commercial, generally speaking, they probably don't like
they're
ladders.
more health and safety.
Health and safety.
Yeah, commercial. So just be careful with that.
Yeah.
But residential, we've never had a problem using our ladders.
Nope.
Just make sure that you are insured.
Yes.
Look up the local authority about
Well, he's in the UK, so
yeah,
it'll be the same with us.
but locals may be different, areas are different. So look at insurance and look at getting a license, a window cleaning license, because you'll need that as well. So do that.
Some areas don't have window cleaning licenses, we just have it up here.
Oh, okay then. So, but search on the council or go into your local council, they'll tell you if you need a license or insurance and things. So.
Indeed.
But yeah, definitely get insurance because, you never know if you accidentally drop your ladder on someone's
It's
car.
also a selling point, it's peace of mind for your customers.
Yeah, when you tell them you've got insurance, it's very professional and it gives your customer peace of mind as well.
And what I would personally do as well is if you've got your insurance, have it in your van on a bit of paper or have it on your phone or tablet. And I find a really good sell if you're talking to a potential customer. You can say, well, if they say, "Oh, well, my previous window cleaner was this price," or whatever, you can say, "Well, we're a full-time legitimate business, and just to give you a bit of peace of mind and let you know that we are legit, here's proof of our insurance as well to give you comfort. We're going to be on the job and doing things safely, and you're covered." And that way they go, "Oh, okay, you sound legit." Just an extra bit of peace of mind for your potential customers there.
And John Paul is also saying he uses a push bike and
Oh,
a trailer,
yeah.
which is fabulous.
Very
if that
cool.
works for you, that saves you a heck of a lot of fuel. So well done.
Indeed.
And insurances and all that.
Yes.
So using a cat
Yes.
vehicle.
But
So,
no,
and more
so
cats,
ladders, perfectly fine. Just remember, commercial, that's going to be the time to check in with the manager of that company, whether ladders are a no-go. To be honest, when I was working for a large window cleaning company, our main weapon of choice, especially for commercial, was water-fed pole, because it was an easy, good selling point. You could say to them, "We've got PPE, high vis, we're keeping our feet on the ground, The only time we would get the ladders out is if we needed to get on a flat roof to get access to some windows. That was the only time that our company that I used to work for would ever use ladders. So yeah, so residential, you're fine. Commercial, check. What's Robert saying? Here in Sweden, carpenters and other building people can get high fees if they use ladders over 2 metre without safety ropes. Doesn't apply to window cleaners.
Oh well, it's good it doesn't apply to window cleaners. I wonder why it doesn't apply to window cleaners.
They don't care about us. That's what it is. Indeed. What's Stephen say? Safety laws get stricter and stricter. Next year we need all new ladders. Costs thousands.
Wow, really? Gosh. I'm really pleased actually that the UK is a little bit more relaxed with the health and safety laws.
Well, when it comes to, you don't get people going around checking your equipment, checking your ladders usually.
No.
Even with commercial stuff, I've never had.
Sometimes I think it is bad that you know, window cleaners don't need licenses and things like that, because that means that anybody could just go out and do it and not do a great job, or damage somebody's car or house or windows and not ever turn back up again, and you know, the customer can't really do anything about it. But so sometimes I think it would be good if we had laws to do with
I mean, I've talked about this with a few window cleaners, possibly yourself watching, and said I personally think there should be almost a bit like an exam, a training course with an exam at the end where it sort of tests whether you know what you're doing with ladders. It tests whether you know what you're doing with razors,
like
working on tint. Yes, safety. Also, like
receiving a safety course of some form, and you have to tend.
I know, but if you could say to your customers, well, actually, you've done this training course and you know how to work on all kinds of windows safely.
He is going to start.
I'm going to start
a training course.
I'm going to start just a window cleaning course.
A window cleaning course. There you go. If you would like to know anything about window cleaning.
No,
Visit Scotland and PLT.
She's laughing, but I think, to be honest, it would be a good sell, especially to commercial clients. You could go in and say, you've sat this training course, the Tradman training course. It's got a ring to it. But no, if you think about any other trade, if you go in to do a job, especially for commercial, you have to show you can do it. Now, I know obviously being a window cleaner is maybe not as technical as trying to wire up someone's building. But at the same token, if you're working with chemicals, you're working with razors, you're working on people's tinted windows or any other kind of covering, working with ladders, working at height, these are all things that I personally think there should be a training course plus a test.
Yes.
With something at the end.
We'll go back to vehicles. One last question before
One last question.
So we'll take Paul O'Connell. Paul is turning 17. Congratulations, Paul, in August. And wants to buy a vehicle, but he'd like to buy a van. It's a bit expensive for his age. Would you say he should make the investment or buy a cheaper option of a car? He says he walks everywhere with his ladders on his shoulder currently.
Hard going, good man.
It's a very different. Whereabouts do you live, Paul? Because I think a lot of it is to do with where you live
and
as
budget.
well. And budget, yeah. We were literally just talking about not long ago about you can get, depending on whether you want to be water fed or traditional, you can get a van and system on finance, so everything you need, but it might
it's quite
still
a high
be,
monthly cost.
Yeah, a high monthly cost if you're just starting out. When we started with a very cheap car because Pete was also very young when we started.
Well, what was it when we first got together, when I first properly started window cleaning myself?
Window cleaning, yeah.
It was a Fiat Punto.
There we go, a Fiat Punto. We bought a window cleaning starting kit off eBay for £50.
Was it not 100?
Was it? No, I think it was £50. It was like a bucket
cheap.
and a little squeegee and a napkin and things like that. I think you got some ladders given, didn't you?
Yes.
So that is how we started. So there you go. And that was how long ago?
Ooh, 4.5 years, was it? No?
It'd be 5 years in January.
5 years in January.
5 years in January, yeah. So
yeah.
No, 6 years in January. No, 5 years in January.
Yes, 5. She used to work for a bank, but can't count.
Yes, because no, I'm going by our son's age because he actually quit his job and didn't have any work at all and literally just went and knocked on people's doors and asked them if they wanted to window cleaner.
Yeah.
When we just had baby who was 8 weeks old, our first son, and I was on maternity leave. So I was the only one with an income, and he literally just quit and started off his own business.
Yeah, at the time we were living on a residential static caravan park.
So we just had a little car.
We were married, what, a year or two, something like that, before?
No, we were married for
3 years?
3.5 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
It's all a blur.
So there you go. So we did it cheap to start with, and we
didn't have much money at the start.
No.
So do what you can with the money that you have.
Yeah. Don't get yourself into debt.
If you can avoid it.
If you can avoid it.
Yeah. But then sometimes you have to invest to get back.
Yeah, true.
Because if you go too cheap, then you end up throwing your money away on something that breaks down all the time.
The little cars we had when we started, they would only last until the next MOT a year, and we'd have to replace it with another cheaper car.
I had to get towed away from the hospital.
So do what you can.
Do what you can, but do your homework. Figure out where you want your business to be. Yeah. If you're going to be trad or work fed or what.
And make sure it's exactly what you want to do. Make sure you want to be a window cleaner, because there's no point in investing all this money into buying this equipment.
Yes.
And vans and things like that if you don't find it's for you. So maybe do it for a wee while first.
Yeah, good advice.
So maybe go for the cheaper option and do it for a little bit and make sure it's
Yeah.
Go for a whole year. Do all the seasons.
Maybe a winter. At least get a winter or two under your belt, so then you know you can get through the bad weather too.
But please check out Pete's YouTube channel, Tradman.
Oh, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking.
He's got lots of tips and things on there about how to get started as a window cleaner and the equipment and things like that. So
if you want to go down the traditional route, anyway, the traditional route is easier to get started. Generally speaking, you can do it with very limited amount of funds, and like you say, people have gone around with push bikes and ladders, and do what you have to do to get started, get that customer in. And
I know you just said that you want to look more professional, which is fine.
Great.
Yeah, our vehicle didn't actually matter what I really looked like at the start.
Not at the start.
It was our leaflets that made all the difference.
Yes, and
we
how we
actually
came across.
invested in our leaflets more than we did with our equipment or our vehicle. We went on a website called Vistaprint, which is I don't know if you get it anywhere other than the UK, but
you get it everywhere.
We got our leaflets off Vistaprint, so we made our leaflets on there, and Pete, dressed nicely, and he knocked on all the doors with our nice leaflets and offered the window cleaning services, and that is how we built up literally from not one customer up to where we are now. Yep. In 5 years.
Where I now need to hire my dad to help me do the work.
Sometimes.
That was slightly satisfying. Just build it up slowly. Yeah. I think some guys get really frustrated that
they can't do it.
They want to go. They look at other people and where they are. But if I would give any advice to you that you're going to take away from this, I would say don't compare yourself to other people, because that'll just put you down. Don't still look at other people's vans and think, oh wow, just go on your journey. Your situation is different from everybody else's. What customers you're going to get, how much your income, your physical, conditions.
Our Facebook page.
Window Cleaning Legends.
Window Cleaning Legends.
Links in the description after the video goes out.
Yes. Join there. Really nice bunch of guys and girls. Ask any window cleaning questions you want. Ask this question that you asked now, and you'll get some really nice advice.
Indeed.
Take from that what you want.
Yeah.
But
this is it.
I hope it all goes well for you.
Indeed. Any questions? There's also the Tradman Facebook page. Fire me a private message on there if you've got any questions. I can help you out at all. It's not a problem at all.
And hello everybody else just joining us. We are just about to say goodbye.
Indeed.
Because we always do this. We always think, we'll just talk for half an hour, and we always end up talking for about an hour. And I don't know how we do that.
I blame you.
I blame me too. I like talking.
Yeah, that's good. But no, thank you ever so much if you've been watching while it's been live. Again, if you're watching this after it's gone live, please leave your thoughts on anything that we've talked about today, whether that's to do with vehicles, working in the heat, getting started as a business, choosing trad or work-fed pole, all these things, whatever your suggestion may be. We'd love to know your thoughts, so fire them down below.
Yeah.
That would be
Give us some thumbs up if you would like to. Or thumbs down, we don't
thumbs
mind.
Down. Yeah, it's a thumb. We like thumbs.
Give us... Don't give us...
Don't give us some thumbs. On that note.
Do you want me to say goodbye, or you say goodbye?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, since she stole my line at the beginning, I'll let you conclude this evening's chat with everybody, shall I?
Okay, so I'm saying that.
See, because one of us needs to go and actually turn the camera off, and I don't have my 4-year-old minion at my disposal. That's, you'll have to do it. So thank you very much, Squeegee Slingers, and I'll see you in the next video, which is up and coming very soon. It's going to be a video of me trading in the old van and
I'll
getting
turn
the
it
new
off
van.
while you tell him that.
Fair enough. The lady says, lady does. All right. Yeah, so the next video coming up is going to be about me trading in the old Tradmobile and going to the garage and picking up the new one all the way to getting the decals done. So tune in for that. That'll hopefully be sometime maybe in the first or second week of August. So thanks very much for tuning in, Squeegee Slingers and water-fed pole wiggling wagglers, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be good, bye for now.